everybody? How's everybody doing today? I hope you are good today. We are going to do some painting. All right. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody? All right. Let's go here. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. How's it? Okay. Having to do a little bit of technology here. Trying to make sure I can figure all this out. Okay. Hope you guys are doing good. Hi, Joy. Hi, Miss Dennehy. How are you? Y'all can tell I worked with Miss Dennehy. She and I both taught together at Junior High West. She's still there. Whenever teachers see teachers, always say, "Hey, Miss Dennehy," even though I know her name is Kim. How are you guys doing? I hope you are good. I'm good. I'm blessed and highly favored because I'm alive. I'm healthy as far as I know. My family's healthy. And I have to get y'all to know, the older I get, this is how I guess you know you're getting old, is when you walk around and you think, you know what, I'm really, really blessed to be alive and healthy today. And so I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful to be here with you guys. It sounds kind of weird because sometimes with the lives, it's like an extra responsibility, you know, because you got to make sure you have all your stuff. Like Miss Dennehy knows, if you're going to teach class, you got to have your materials, your supplies, you know, have everything ready to go. And so that part's kind of like the bummer part. But the good part is that I get to be with you guys, you know, kind of talking, painting, gossiping. Hey, Ashley, how are you? And beforehand, Ashley and I have been working on the calendar for July. And oh my gosh. I think we have, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 days that we will be in your life, I hope. 19 days that we're going to be either in the academy or in the painters club or on a Zoom meeting, whatever. Because you guys know on Monday, Ashley will be doing that sneak peek. And so we've been working on all that. So our plan is in July, we'll be doing a lot of videos. Now, obviously, if you can't catch us live, that's super cool. You can always go back. Hey, Vicki, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. So we've got 19 things going on in the month of July, but I think we're good. I got the schedule. I think I've got it all figured out. And we are probably more than likely, and I know in August we'll be doing fall stuff too, but starting around September and October, you may see us doing kind of cheating a little bit and doing some replays on some stuff that we did in July because we're real busy in the fall. So it's our hope that if we get all this stuff going in July, that gives y'all time to watch, time to work on your stuff and all that kind of stuff. And if you don't catch it in July, you can do it in August and September and October. I will be doing, well, look at here, it's right in front of me, July 1st and 2nd. I've had a lot of people over the years ask me how to glitter, so I'm bringing it to you. July 1st, July 2nd, 7 o'clock. It's going to take me 2 nights. I hope to get it done in 2 nights because it's a drying time issue. It's not necessarily anything other than the time that it takes to dry. So make sure that you tune in or at least catch the replay on glittering because I've had a lot of people say I've tried to glitter, it messed up, it was a nightmare, it was a mess. And probably a lot of you that have tried to glitter, you probably did a lot of things right, but that's one of those scenarios. If you don't do every single step exactly right, you're not going to like what you come out with. And believe me, because I've made all those errors. So, 19 things going on next month. Glittering, part 1. Wednesday, part 2. Thursday, Ashley will be here Monday with a sneak peek on all of our Christmas. And, hey, we're just working and working and working. I'm so glad y'all are here. So, okay, what I did today is I did this the other day in our Zoom meeting. I actually went ahead and base coated all this. So this is all the stuff that I've got base coated. Y'all, I can't talk today. Maybe I am getting old. Okay, so I went ahead and did this. Now, this is our what I call the Texas flag truck. And so, really, pretty much for the most part, when you look at this, all of the detail is in your blue bonnet. So I'm going to start here in that blue bonnet because you see my arm is going to rest in here. So I'm not, this is all dry and I'm going to want it to be dry because when I'm working on that blue bonnet, I don't want my arm dry. And I think we told you guys before, when you're working on something especially that has a lot of detail, start in the middle, work towards your body. Don't start here and then move there because then all of this and this and this is going to get paint all over it. You don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the blue bonnets. What did I do on the blue bonnets? So the blue bonnets, I actually did them in a medium, number 4 medium blue, which is this color. That's my base coat. Number 4 medium blue is what I did. Now, excuse me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with number 5 brilliant blue and number 6 navy blue. So I'm going to do a little bit of shading in this and I'm going to do some outlining in this. So let's give it a try. Okay, so I've got my brilliant blue right here, right? All right, I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. You guys have heard us say a lot that we Ashley and I both put, from time to time, we'll put water and stuff, depending on how much we think we need it. Okay. For those of you that are going to do glitter presents with me next week, I don't want to sound like a pushy salesperson, but I'm going to do that for just a second. If you're going to do glittering on the glitter presents with me, you might really consider getting a mop brush. If you can't get one, we have them at the shop. If you can't get one from us, you can get some somewhere. You're going to really need that because when we work on glittering, I'm usually pretty easygoing on most everything in terms of paint. I'll say, don't worry about it, you can fix it. But I'm not going to tell you that on glittering. On glittering, I'm going to tell you do exactly what I tell you to do because you're not going to like it if you don't. All right, so this is a flat shader brush. It's a number 10. This is my number 5 brilliant blue. I think it's number 5 brilliant blue. Yeah. And then I'm going to come in here on here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this paint and I'm just going to kind of dip it to where you see I've got it in the corner, right? See my corner? Now, the thing you want to make sure is that your paint right here, I'm trying to get it to where the camera's good, that is going to be kind of on the outside, okay? So what I mean by that, and I don't want a lot of paint on there, I'm just going to kind of come in here and do it a little bit. Can y'all, I'm going to push this down. Maybe we all could see it a little bit better. Hold on. Is that better? Hold on a second. Let me just tighten. There we go. I'm going to try to do it because I really want y'all to see what I'm doing. Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to kind of come in here like this. And I'm not going to load my brush every single time. I'll probably load it about every 3rd or 4th time, give or take. Something like that. And the idea here is this is a flower. So it's not... I am deliberately not going to spend a lot of time trying to be precise, what is the word, perfect, for lack of a better word. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that because, you know, you think about a flower, it's in nature. It's not going to be perfect. And all I'm doing is just kind of coming in here and going towards the outside is all I'm doing. Kind of making that brush lay down a little bit as I'm doing it, and I'm going to come in here and I'm just going on the outside of that bonnet. And you can see, so what I might do, I've got it shaded on the outside kind of the way I want it, and I'm going to kind of come in here and just give it a little bit more of a blue. Not anything perfect, not anything great, just a little bit more of a blue in there. Okay? And you can see none of this is perfectly uniform. And hey Lisa, Miss Cood, how are you? I've been thinking about you, all of you guys, and Miss Dennehy's in here, that are teachers or counselors at the public school system. Man, oh man, I've been praying for y'all. Lisa, I can't even imagine what superintendents and counselors and teachers and I mean and parents and kids too. with everything that's going on. So I've been thinking about you guys. I hope y'all just keep your sense of humor and do the best you can. And just laugh, because this is just crazy. This is crazy. All right, let me get back on task. Okay, so I'm going to be doing my blue bonnets here. And it's so fun to have an audience, y'all. For so many years, I've never had an audience, so I got to ham it up a little bit. And so I am just kind of coming here on the outside of my blue bonnets. That's all I'm doing. Making that brush kind of go where I want it to go. And this is a number 10 shading brush. It's a kind of a smaller one. It's not a large one. And I'm not using a whole lot of paint. Okay? So I'm going to do that, come in here. So on this particular part of our truck, I'm not using a lot of paint. And then when we get it shaded, I'm going to run over there and put it under my handy little dryer, which is nothing other than a ceiling fan. And then I'll work on the state of Texas and then come back and finish this guy tonight. We try to make it to where we can finish one or two things in each video. You know, understanding that sometimes the videos can get a little long. It's not our goal. We want to make them as quick as we can, but you know, it's life. Sometimes things are not going to go exactly the way you want. Well, let's say most of the time they don't go exactly the way you want. Okay, so excuse me. So I've got my blue bonnets in here. I'm going to turn this around. Now you can tell, look, I messed this up. I didn't base coat right. You can look at that, that's red. And I know I don't want that red. So what I'm going to do right quick is I'm going to put a little bit of my medium blue. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of my medium blue in here. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to put a little bit of blue, because I did not base coat this right like I should have in the first place. No big deal. And so, okay, I'm going to let that dry and I'm going to keep on going with the brilliant blue. I'm shading with the brilliant blue. And to me, the brilliant blue looks really good on that number 4 medium blue, which is kind of what you want for a blue bonnet. And I think on our swatches, we actually have 6 blues or something like that. 6 or 7, maybe 6. I can't really remember. And, you know, it's not that we want to try to have a lot of colors, but it really does take that many different shades of blue to address all sorts of things that you want to do. So, it's just the way it is. So I'm going to kind of come back, and again, I'm just putting a little bit of blue in there. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not even trying to make it look uniform because it's a flower. So, as long as I get it kind of looking like a blue bonnet, then I'm good to go. And try to keep an eye on the comments section. I don't know if y'all can hear it in the background, but my dogs, we have three dogs, 3 big dogs and 2 little ones. And 2 of the big ones are in the background playing. And around here, it is dog heaven. They get to do whatever they want. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blue bonnets in this, but to me, that is what makes this truck actually look good, is the fact that you've got all the blue bonnets in the back. Okay, that's kind of what makes it look good. So I'm going to keep going with this number 5 brilliant blue on my number 10 shader brush. Number 5 brilliant blue, number 10 shader brush. Okay, I hope y'all can tell I'm getting a little bit better. You can tell the teacher in me, when we're doing these lives, I'm getting a little bit better about calling out what I'm using in terms of paint and in terms of the brush, because that does help. You know, at first I really wasn't doing that because honestly, it just didn't occur to me. And then somebody mentioned, you know, hey, can you tell us what the paint is and what the brush is? And it's like, sure, I can do that. I can do that. Let's see, I'm just going in there. So I have, in the short time that we've been together on this video, I have done 6 of my blue bonnets. Okay, I'm fixing to do that 7th one. Now my blue over here is not real dry, so I'm going to try to tread lightly and not bear down on that brush a lot, because I screwed up and didn't base coat this right. I'm sure y'all can relate to messing up from time to time and not doing something right. All right, so we're almost done with our blue bonnets, and I'm just going in here following the line that CNC that CNC did. So let's see. Let's come over here. Trying to see. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go here. I'm gonna put a little bit of paint in here on this wet. It might not work, and if it doesn't, I'll have to come back and redo it later. I'm gonna try to put a little bit of paint back in there. It's really not working, it's really too wet. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay, so I'm gonna go now, still using this number 10 shader, and I'm gonna go and I'm going to, hi Kimberly, how are you? Hi Danae, how are you doing? I see Danae's been ordering some Christmas stuff. I saw Kimberly on the Zoom meeting the other night. I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of learning everybody's names and trying to keep up a name and a face. The other day I was at the shop and Miss Joy came in and I got to meet her face to face, so that was kind of cool, putting a face and a name together. So I'm using a number 10 shader brush and I'm using the number 12 dark green. And what am I doing? Well, let's see. No, I don't want that. I want the green. What am I doing? I'm making my leaves. Okay? I'm making my leaves. So I would kind of come in here and just kind of come in the middle and do a leaf thing, and then do a little thing. And there's not a lot of space in here, so you're going to have to be very careful. I don't have a lot of space in here, so I think what I'm going to do, because it's such a small area, I'm just going to leave it like that, because I don't have enough area to work with anything else really and make it look good. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Just going to go on the outside of it, and I'm going to leave it at that because it's such a small area. All right, so I'm doing my leaves with my blue bonnets. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, when I did this gray background, I used the number 24 gray, and I painted the gray background first. Once all that gray was dry, I come in here with a little bit of the white, which I think is number, hold on, I'm gonna get this where I can remember all this. Number 35 white, and I did a little bit of shading right here. Once that was dry, once my gray and my white were dry, then I came in and did the number 4 blue and then the number 11 Christmas green on these leaf petals, okay? So 11 Christmas green for my base coat on my leaf petal, number 12 dark green for the shading on my leaves, and that's how I did that. I put that gray down first, let it dry, put some white highlight on it, let it dry, and then I came in and did my my blue bonnets. All right, so I'm pretty sure, I think I like the blue bonnet. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna switch gears a minute. We did that number 5 brilliant shading, and I'm going to go to number 6, I think this is called number 6 navy blue. Yeah, number 6 navy blue. So I'm gonna go to that. So that number 6 navy blue, and I'm going to, I've got to water this down just a bit. I'm going to use a script liner. This script liner I have is a number 4 script liner. So with my number 4 script liner, I'm going to use this number 6 navy blue. And what am I going to do? I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to outline some of those blue bonnets. Now notice my blue bonnets are really where all my time is being taken up. And that's because that's really where all your decoration is. Yes, I'm going to shade the truck and the flag, but that's not going to take me long. All of your real work is in the blue bonnet. Now, I've got the number, what did I say this was, number 4 shader or script liner. So I'm going to come in here just where that CNC went, and I'm going to go in here like this. Now, I'm not sure that I'm really feeling this, the dark green or dark navy blue. So here's what I'm going to do. If you don't know, here's what I'm going to do. So I've got the navy blue there on my outline. And I got to be honest, I'm not really feeling it too much. So here's what we're going to do. Doesn't matter how long you've done something, I still feel like, well, this is the first time I've ever painted this truck, but you think you know what you want till you put it down, and then you're like, ah, I'm not feeling that. So using that same script liner, I'm gonna go with black here in a minute. We're gonna see if I like the black any better. I don't know, the black is kind of dark too. So here's what we're gonna do. I've got a little bit up here, and I'm gonna put this up here. Now, the first two that I did down here are the navy, number 6 navy. And then I went to the number 37 black. So take a look at that. Y'all tell me, which do you like? Do you like the navy number 6 outline, or do you like the black? I'm gonna give it a minute. We're gonna see what the comments have to say. Somebody says I like the black. I kind of, yeah, you know, when I was looking at it, I thought I was gonna like the navy, the number 6 dark navy, but I'm not really feeling it. Okay, so let's see what the comments tell me. Okay, somebody says navy, somebody says navy, somebody says black. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We're gonna go with this black for a minute. And what I'm gonna do, here's how we're gonna tell. I'm going to do this whole thing right here in black, and then I'm gonna do one right beside it in navy. Of course, I'll have to come back and cover one of them up, but that's okay. Now I'm trying to, obviously I'm working in a small space, so I'm trying not to cover that up. I'm just trying to put a little bit of black paint in there, but not cover up all the other blue that I have. I like that blue, and I want to outline it, but I don't really want to cover it up too much. Okay. So this is black. Yeah, because all the real work is in your blue bonnets. But that's what makes the truck look pretty, I think. Now, we're going to go ahead while I'm here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the leaves. Okay, so I just outlined my leaf. Okay, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to cover this one up with some black. Now, here's what I'm going to do, because we don't know quite. Got the black. I'm going to clean out that brush right quick. We're going to do this next one in all blue, in the navy. Okay. Then, after that, be a little easier for us to decide. And it's kind of cool in the fact that some people may like the navy and some people may like the black. Honestly, you know, it's not like the color police are going to show up and arrest you over either color. It's all good. It's just a matter of personal preference. I think I'm feeling the black more, but, you know, we'll see. So sometimes you just have to kind of play around a little bit and get it to where you want it. Okay? And see what you think. So far, I'm feeling the black more than I'm feeling the dark blue, but I'm going to go ahead and do this one. There is, you know, you think there's not much of a difference because the navy is dark, but there really is. Once you put this much color or this much paint down, like in the black or the navy, that's a lot of paint. That's a lot of color. They are going to be different. Okay. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do my leaves in the dark navy. Okay. So let's do something. All right. So there's our close-up look. You can kind of, I'm going to get real close for just a second. And then we're going to kind of come back down. So looking at this, I think I'm feeling the black a little more. But that kind of gives you an idea. The further I get away from the camera, really, the less you can tell. So let's put it back up there. Yeah, we've got to put some white in there. So, okay, that'll give you an idea. Honestly, I'm feeling the black. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead, y'all tell me what you think. We're gonna put some white in there. Kimberly's right, we need some white. And, but we're going to, I really think I'm feeling the black. All right. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Hey Lou, how are you? So good you could join us. Lou is my cousin. My maiden name is Blackman. Y'all can see her. She has Lou Blackman. Her dad and my dad were brothers. Sadly, both of them have been gone for a long time, which makes me sad. And Lou posted a picture of her dad the other day, and he was very young. I was like, oh my gosh, he was so handsome. Still miss him though, don't we? Miss him like crazy. Like crazy, crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get to town, stop all this dang talking and get to work. I better get to work or we'll be here all night. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of come back up here. All right, so I'm working in, I think Ashley said this the other night, working in a little space, you gotta kind of be careful. It's easy to mess that up. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna kind of come in here, and here, and here. And I'm just, all I'm doing is following the line that that CNC created. That's all I'm doing. Just following that line. Going in there in that line. Okay. And I'm going to kind of go back a little bit, and I'm going to come there. All right, and I've got my leaf. I'm going to go up here and do that. And I'm going to come in here, and again, here I go, following that line that the CNC gave me. Now, in the old days, before we had a CNC, we drew everything by hand and or we transferred the pattern using graphite paper. And so you can imagine how revolutionary it was when we got the CNC to carve or etch the pattern on there. It just made a huge difference in what we could do, which really kind of paved the pathway to be able to do what we're doing now and sell blanks, where basically we can score that pattern on there for you guys. And couldn't have done that without the CNC. A little thing about, you'll hear us talk about CNC a lot. That's an acronym. C stands for computer, N stands for numerical, and then C stands for cutting. So what a CNC is, it's a machine that cuts based on a numerical equation. That's the layman's terms of explaining it, or my terms, if you will, because that's about how I understand it. It's all about, it's run by software, you know, as most machines are. If you know the software, then you kind of can figure out what you're doing. So we didn't get our first CNC until 2013, yeah. And even then, we just got it to cut the actual pattern, the perimeter out. It just cut out the whole perimeter. It didn't put a pattern on here. We didn't start doing that, I think, till 2 years later. And because the CNC, I went to my son one day, because at that time we only had one. Now, y'all know Ashley has a CNC at her house, but at this point in time, she didn't. And I said to him, because we had been transferring the pattern by using graphite paper and a paper pattern. And I said to him, you have to find a way to etch or score the pattern on here so we don't have to have paper patterns anymore. We don't have to transfer by hand, because that's what we did. We transferred everything by hand. And I remember he kind of looked at me, and he just kind of sat there and looked at me like I really couldn't tell what he was thinking. And he's a quiet person anyway. And then, of course, at this point, I'm his mom. I know how he is, so I just get real quiet and let him think. And then he kind of says, you know, Mom, he pauses. He says, I think I can do that. I think I can. So do y'all have some? Yeah, I don't think we have the small script liners. I think we are sold out. So when I said to him, hey, Bub, you got to find a way to scratch or score the pattern on there, you know, you could tell he kind of looked at me like the wheels are turning. And he said, I think I can do it. I need you to draw the pattern differently. So we did. And y'all, if you could have only seen all of us standing around the CNC machine that first time to see if he was going to be able to find a way to make the pattern show up and get scored or etched on there, you know. We're all like in great anticipation, almost as if somebody's at the maternity ward at the hospital giving birth to a new baby or something. You know, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's how excited we were. And we're all standing around at that machine waiting, and the machine starts cutting and doing its thing, and then you can see, okay, here we go with the pattern. And we were like standing around clapping. I mean, I'm not kidding. Everybody was so happy about that. And the thing about my kids, now our son runs one CNC, and then Ashley and Zach, they both can run their own CNC. So the thing about our kids is they pretty much are self-taught, and because there's not really a school that you go to that I know of to learn how to use a CNC. It's pretty much on-the-job training. But if you're motivated enough, you'll have some sleepless nights because you're learning something new. But if you're motivated enough, you know, most of the time we can teach ourselves. And so I think this is the 4th CNC that we've owned. And it's pretty awesome. But that's from 2013 as our first one. So that was 7 years ago that we got our first one. So it's taken us, it takes some time to really learn how to use that machine. Okay, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to do that middle part. Just kind of doing that, going back, like that. All right, I forgot my grass here. A little stitch of grass, I've got to do that. And I've got to do this. Yeah, all the work in this truck is on your Bluebonnets, because all this other stuff is going to go, you're going to see that's going to go lickety-split fast. In fact, to make this go faster, I probably could have had some of this already done, but kind of that's the point of y'all watching these, is watching every step, you know, even though y'all didn't get to watch the base coating, because that's the easier part. Because if I had to base coat too, we'd be here 2 hours. All right, so not too much longer, and I'm going to have this Bluebonnet done. All my Bluebonnets are going to be done. And it's using a lot of paint, but that's okay. Going back. Okay, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do my blades of grass. All right, so here we're gonna go and do a little bit of fun now. I'm gonna come back and do that in black after it's dry. Here's where my Bluebonnets are at this point. Okay, there's my Bluebonnets. Now the Texas flag, I'm gonna work on that. And you'll see this part's gonna go fast. This is actually in the Brilliant Blue. Okay. So I want to do a little bit of shading, and I can tell you right now, if I just use the Texas Blue, I'm sorry, the number 6 dark blue on that as shading, I'm not going to be happy. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I've got a little bit of the number 6 dark blue and just black. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to it's almost a half and half proposition. Okay, I'm just making it a little bit darker, because I really want that Brilliant Blue is already quite dark. So I'm going to grab that number 10 shader that I was using a little earlier. All right, so here we go. And I'm just going to come around here. I'm not trying to put a whole bunch of shading on here, because we don't have a big area, but I do want some. So I'm going to kind of come in here and go like that. All right, I'm going to go over here. I'm trying to keep some paint on this. So there's that part. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that paint and I'm gonna come right around here. I'm just gonna shade the star. Okay, and I'll come here and I'll come here. I'm gonna just put what I call some swirls or swishes. And that's all I'm gonna do to that part. Now, I'm gonna rinse my brush out. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead, that gray that I used, I think it's number 24. Here's number 24 gray. I got some more black. Let's try this. Got some black and some gray. I'm gonna stir it. What am I doing? I'm making my own shading gray. That's all I'm doing. It doesn't really matter. You know, as long as you get a little bit darker than what the gray is there. Got that same number 10. I don't know if you notice, I keep doing this, right? I'm just getting those brushes to fan out for me, okay? So I'm gonna come in here. And I'm putting some dark gray around here. There we go. Then I've got my little rear view mirror, so to speak, if you call it that. That's what I would call it. My little rear views. Okay. I'm going to rinse that brush out again. Now, I don't know if I've said this to you guys. I think I've said it, but it bears repeating because you never know who's watched a video and who hasn't. You're shading red. What I do is I buy red, the number 20, and I mix the shading red. Why do I do that? Because I use shading red, I use number 20 red with black to create number 23 shading red. The problem with trying to get it mixed commercially is I've never been successful because it turns purple or it turns black, and I don't want that. I want what I would think of as that real traditional maroon color. All right, so I've got some shading red in here. So if you ever get in a point you don't have any shading red, you can make it using number 20 with some number 37 black. All right, I'm gonna still use this small brush because I don't have a big space right here. Yeah, you could put a name on the flag. You could, if you wanted to. You could put, I think I even saw Lynn did Burns right here on this, on the plate. But definitely you could. So, but to me, when we come in here and you start shading this red with that shading red, to me, that is when everything looks good as far as your red. And you're gonna see, next month we're doing all the Christmas stuff. Man, you're gonna be using a lot of shading red. So remember that little trick. If you run out, just as long as you got number 20 red and black, you can make your own, okay? So I am just basically shading wherever the CNC went. I'm gonna follow that because that's my pattern, okay? And notice when I'm shading, I think sometimes, and it's probably natural when you're first learning something, people get real uptight and they go real slow and they hold this brush real tight. If you could really feel my glide in my hand, I'm very, what I would call loosey-goosey. I don't hold this brush very tight. It's very relaxed. My arms is not really uptight trying to make sure everything's perfect. So the flow of my brush is I make long strokes, right? To me, the faster you move, the easier it is to have a solid looking stroke. So I kind of move fast on my strokes. It's just something I've always done once I learned it, not in the very beginning, because in the very beginning you're still learning, you know. Okay, so here we go. I'm just doing some swishes, okay? Here's this, what I'll probably do over this guy is just kind of do something like that on each side. I got more of that shading red and I'm going to go around my license plate. That's all I'm going to try to do right here. kind of give it a little bit of definition in here, that license plate. I'm going to come over here like so. So you can tell when I run out of paint, it just goes dry on me. And I don't worry about that. I just go back and pick up some more. Okay. I'm trying to put this where y'all can see it. All right, so we're going to come over here. I'm going to do this, this, come back up here. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Okay, this like so, because that's my actual tailgate right there. I'm going to do that. Then what I'm going to do on here is I think I'm going to keep it close to that shading right here. And then of course I don't have a lot of space right here, so I'm going to do just a little bit. But even on my windshield, I'm going to go this route. I'm going to do it to where my shading red is touching that shading gray. And I'll show you why here in a little bit. I'm doing it this way. Same thing right here. My shading red is touching my shading gray. And then that shading red is on the outside of the truck right here. Okay. So I think I've got it kind of shaded the way I want as far as all that. And I'm going to come up here, and I still got this shader, and I'm going to kind of give me a little bit, I call it giving it some personality. Just kind of doing some red wisp. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Now, I've noticed that on my license plate, I'm not exactly happy with that. I didn't get enough paint on there the first go around. So I'm going to put a little bit more paint on there right now. We don't need a lot, but we need a little bit more. Okay. Let's see, how long can I get away with? I'm new. Hey, as long as you need to. Every day's new. Hey, Julie, how are you? Hi. And let's see, Pam, I got your email. I promise you I'm going to respond. I promise. Today's been kind of a crazy day. Pam emailed me. I think, Pam, you were asking me if your last name split monogram is done. It is. And as far as your Christmas stuff, we're trying to have all that at the store either Monday or Tuesday. Well, Mondays were closed, so let's call it Tuesday. So now, I don't even have to email her. I can tell her now. Okay, so we have our truck. I'm at the point where I'm pretty happy with this, except obviously I haven't outlined a lot. So I'm going back to my number 10 script line, or my number 4 script liner. Is that what it was? Yeah. I'm gonna go back over here with this. I've got my black paint. And you can take a look at this and you can tell it's not finished, but it's fixing to start looking really good. Why is it going to start looking really good? Because I'm fixing to get to the part where we got a lot of paint on here and it's starting to look finished. And to me, that's what I mean by making it look really good. So I'm going to come in here like so, going all the way down. I'm going to come all the way up to that. Okay. And all I'm doing is going and following the lines that CNC created for me, making sure I've kind of watered that paint down enough that it's going into the groove there. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm trying to kind of hurry along, and I'm having a hard time. I'm going to have to stop here in a minute and put some more paint in my little 2-ounce cup. So I'm going to go here, here. I'm going to go like this. Okay, I'm gonna stop for just a second. I don't have any paint in there, wouldn't you know? I got some paint in here. When you start getting to the point where you don't have a lot of paint in your 2-ounce cup, it's gonna cost you time because you're gonna have to go back and you're gonna have to dip and dip and dip and dip and dip in there just to get the paint on there. So I put some more paint in there. You can tell I'm doing, I'm just putting more water. Once I get the paint in here with enough water, then I'm gonna rock and roll. And I'm going to go ahead and finish outlining. All right. Now I've got some paint to work with. You can see the difference. And so now this means I really can get going. Sometimes you just have to sit here and go in those grooves pretty deep like. You're gonna see here in a minute, I'm gonna have a lot of black paint on here. Basically, what am I doing? Whenever you're outlining like this, you're just creating that boundary from one color to the next. So part of the reason why things look good once it's outlined, it looks like it's finished, is because you now have your boundaries in there that you want from color to color. Okay? Going around, and now my truck is starting to look like a real painted truck, which is the idea. What am I doing? I'm just going back and forth to make sure I get enough paint in the part where the bit of the CNC etched that line. Okay. Now when I get up here, I'm going to put this black in between the shading gray and the shading red. Okay. Now I am almost done with this guy. Not quite, but he's got a lot of paint on him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over there and put him underneath the dryer. I'm going to come right back and show you our state of Texas. But here's where we are. Put this under the camera. Okay? Here's where we are right now. You can tell I have a lot of black paint on there, don't I? I'll be right back. Now, when I look at this guy compared to what we were doing a while ago, super easy. Okay, now I'm going to use on this guy, I just base coated him in all the colors that you see, white, red. This is white, 35 white, number 20 red, and then this is that number 5 brilliant blue. This is a, woo, y'all, my eyes are getting bad. This is a Cotman 1/2-inch shader, just a flat tip brush. Okay, here's that navy 6 number blue and that number 37 black that I mixed. Okay, so I'm going to come in here with that shader and I'm going to go around my star just like so. That's all I'm going to do is go around my star. Okay, go around that star. Now, I like this look. You don't have to, but I usually come up once around the star just to kind of give it some personality. And then that same shader, we said this was a 1/2-inch shader. I'm going to come over here and come back over here and fix this. Okay? And then I'm going over here and I'm just going around the perimeter. That's all I'm doing. Going around that perimeter. Now, the other thing I like to do, you don't have to do this, but it's something I always do. So when I'm shading, I'm turning the brush this way, right? That's how I'm shading. Now I'm fixing to put some highlights or some wisp in there. I'm going to turn the brush to this angle. I'm going to go to this angle. So this is the shading angle. This is the, what I would call some blue highlight angle, okay? And I come over here and I just make a wisp, and I come down and pick up and come down and pick up and come down and pick up. Come down and pick up, come down and pick up. And I come over here, go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down. Come over here, down, up. That's all I did. Nothing, and I just used the number 6 dark blue, navy blue, mixed it with number 35, and that's what that blue is. All right. Now this is the shading red, number 23. Still a 1/2 inch shader right here. I'm going to pick up quite a bit of paint, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do the same thing here that I did on that blue. Now, it's easy to tell when you start running out of paint. Don't worry about it. Just go pick up some more and come back and start again. Okay? Same thing that I did over here. So this is the angle that I used to shade with. This is going to be the angle I use to make some wispy marks, okay? So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I'm running out of paint, put a little bit more on here, not a lot. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay? Now, I'm going to do a little bit of shading on that white. And I think what I'm going to use, let's see. What is this that I have right here? I think this that I have right here is a light, I'm trying to look at it because y'all know we have a lot of blues. I think this one is the sky blue. Well, can't get it open. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. 1/2 inch shader. And I'm just going to come over here. And I'm not going to worry about being all perfect or anything like that. All I'm doing is just putting a little bit of blue on here. Okay? That's all I'm doing. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay? Now, this is ready for me to go back to my script liner. So, going to the script liner, using the black, number 37. I'm going to put a lot of paint on this, just like that red truck a while ago. You're going to see a lot of paint on here. And I'm going to put this over here a little bit more. Hopefully y'all can see a little bit better. Okay, I'm coming in here just where that CNC is, put my line, and I'm putting a lot of paint in there. I'm covering that line up pretty much. Going like this. Debbie says, do we have different sizes on the script liner? They do make them. I don't know if we have any in stock. Typically, we use a number 4 or a number 6. This is a number 4. If I use a number 6, I typically use it on the bigger pieces. Now, notice what I do with this black. I'm going to come in here with the black, and on top of that shading, I'm just going up, just like I did, up and down, up and down, up and down. You don't have to. It's just something I do. It's a look that I like. Don't feel like you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And I'm going again with the script liner, just down, up, down, up, down, up. So I'm putting, Texas is kind of a plain pattern, so I'm giving it a lot of personality. Putting a lot of paint on here, okay? That's all I'm doing. I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And I'm not worried about it being perfect. I'm not worried about it all looking uniform. That's not me. Not saying that you have to do that. You can do what you like, but I don't worry about it looking all straight and beautiful and pristine and proper and all of that. No, that's not my bag. Go, so down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? And I'm gonna go this way. Y'all can see I'm putting a lot of black paint on here. I happen to have a very, very heavy hand, meaning that when I'm painting, I get all crazy and I put a lot of pressure on my brush. You may have a very, very light hand. Both are pretty. It's just a matter of style. Doesn't really matter. I've seen people who have very beautiful work and have a very, very light hand. Hey, Melissa, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Where do you buy your mixing spoons? I get mine from the restaurant supply. For whatever reason, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because everybody's got a kitchen or I have a kitchen. I always go to the kitchen when I'm looking for something to make it work in my paint room. And so I have a lot of things from the kitchen in here. So I just get them at the restaurant supply. I tried to get them at Sam's once, but I don't think they carry them. Yes, there you go. Kim just said Ace Restaurant. She is correct. Okay. So we're going to go here. All right. Almost done. Now, I want you to take a look at this guy. I think he looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with him. He's getting kind of, you know, has a lot of paint on him. And part of me likes that. But part of me says, okay, let's do something to just jazz it up. So this is just the plain number 6 navy blue. And I'm just going to kind of come in here and just do this. And I'm just kind of taking my script liner and just doing that. Now, here's the deal. So we've got this all to a point where we're almost done with it. I'm going to put it up here so you can see it. Okay. Now, I want you to watch. I'm going to spend literally about 15 seconds. Okay. You watch what I do for 15 seconds. That takes this from looking a little bit dark to looking really, really good. And it's just the same thing that I was talking about. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's all I'm doing. That's it. And so I put quite a bit of white on him because I like the look of my white highlight. A lot of times I almost think about, hey, Christy, I'm glad you could join us. Hold on, Lupe, I'll tell you about Polly in the back in just a second, I promise. But anyway, I do a lot of white on here. It's almost like a white stitching look. I don't try to make it white and look like a stitch. It's just taking that script liner and going down, up, down, up, down, up. That's all I did, okay? I'm going to go get my little red truck. I'll be right back. But anyway, I think he turned out cute. Let me put it this way where y'all can kind of see him. There's my Texas. Now, you can always come in here and write the words home sweet home, welcome y'all, hey y'all, whatever. I mean, there's, you know, a lot of things you could write on here if you wanted to do that, or you could just leave it just like this. Either way. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so let's go back and talk about the question, do you poly the back? Because that actually came up, I think, in a post today. And I do not poly the back. Let me tell you why I go from there. The point of the poly is several things. Number one, it's going to give you a shiny, glossy look, which I like. Doesn't mean you have to use it. This is all exterior house paint. If you don't want to use the poly, you don't have to. It's going to really gloss it up. Also, the poly does protect the paint. There's no question about that. Now, I don't poly the back because nobody sees the back, and I'm not really worried about the back. And I typically don't put a lot of poly on the sides unless it's a glitter item, but we'll have that discussion next week. If you want to poly the back, that's perfectly fine, you can. If you want to poly the sides, that's perfectly fine, you can. If you want to poly the front, you can. It's really, really whatever you want to do. I poly the front all the time because I like the glossy look. It doesn't mean you have to. If you don't want a glossy look, then you don't have to poly. But I don't really see the point of poly in the back. If you're using a good exterior house paint, you're fine. Now, some people want to use acrylic paint because they have that at the house. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but if you're gonna use that, you really need to put, I would say, at least 3 coats of poly on top of that acrylic paint, because I don't think the acrylic paint's gonna last outside year in and year out the way you would be happy with that. Also, there was a post today, they were asking about, it's rained so much, is it okay for this stuff to be outside? What we're using is a signboard material called medium density overlay. It is not a plywood like you're going to go to Home Depot and get, a pine plywood or oak plywood. That's not what it is. It is a signboard material designed specifically to be outside. So if it rained 365 days a year, you're still good. No worries, okay? But then on top of the signboard material, we're using exterior house paint. So you're really good. So no matter how much it rains, no worries. All right, hopefully that'll kind of help that. So if you want to poly the back and sides, you can. You don't have to. Now, I've almost got this guy finished, so what I'm going to do, and I want you to pay attention to what I do with the brush. Okay, it's that same thing about using a script liner and just kind of bouncing the brush up and down a little bit. That doesn't want to work, so let's try something else. Hold on a minute, y'all. I'm going to put some more paint in here, and I'm going to put some white. Now, if you're going to do that, I would encourage you, if you're going to kind of go look and have those white highlights like that, I really would thin this paint down. Okay, that's what I would do. Now, I think their truck is super cute. I'm feeling it. I think it looks good. I'm all good with it, but it's fixing to get really a lot better looking. You know how I said it looked good when I outlined it? I'm fixing to highlight. This is what we call highlighting, and it's fixing to look a lot better. Okay, so I've got my paint in here, and I'm going to just, first of all, I'm just going around the edges. That's all I'm doing. Now, it's still giving me a lot of a dry brush look, so what that tells me is I need some more water. So I'm fixing to put some more water in here. Okay, so you just kind of have to play with that till you get the look that you want. There's a sweet spot when it comes to stuff like this, and what I mean by that is there's a point at which your mixture is just the way you want it. So you have to play with that till you get it just the way you want it. Okay, I'm not trying to put a lot of paint on here. I'm just kind of coming in here, and I'm going to go here, up and down, up and down. Almost like a, like I said, like a stitched look. I'm not trying to go for that. I'm not trying to make it look like a stitched look, but that's just kind of the way it looks. So I'm coming in here. Now, I watch my Bluebonnet. I'm just going to kind of come in here, and I'm just going to kind of do this. Just trying to put some white on that Bluebonnet and on my leaves. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to do this a little bit darker here. So I'm going to come up here. I'm not trying to put a whole lot of paint on the Bluebonnet itself as far as the white. In fact, I'm trying to just kind of keep it very, very light. Outlining right here, so I need to come back and do that. I'm going in here, and I'm almost done with my white. I'm going to come over here. I think what I'm going to do on the rear view mirror, I'm going to come out here, and I'm just going to outline it in white. Kind of almost the opposite of what you would expect me to do. Just going to kind of make that stand out a little bit. Okay. Same thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to kind of come up and down. I'm just doing that up and down motion. Okay. This has to be outlined in black, because I missed that up. Okay. Yeah, he's looking good, y'all. He's looking a lot better. It's looking like he's getting ready to be finished. Let me put some of that black on and then I think we're going to be done. Notice how it looks so much, to me, it looks so much better when I put the white on there. That's when it kind of like, okay, we've outlined it. That looks good. Outlining definitely makes a difference, and that makes it look good. But then when you put that white on there, it looks, to me, it looks finished. I'm gonna make sure I have everything the way I want it to be. I think I'm good, y'all. So let me show you. Okay, here's our Texas Bluebonnet truck. I think it looks really good. Do we have one that looks like it's pulling the camper? Actually, we had one, but I think we sold out of them. I don't think we have any right now. Brittany to answer that question. So we did have them, but we don't have them right now. But that'll give you an idea of what that's going to look like if you decide to go that route. We should kind of put it back here where you can see the whole thing. But I think he looks super cute. There's a lot of work in the Bluebonnets, but really everything else, there's not much work. So let me know if you guys have any questions. And remember, Ashley will have a sneak peek on Monday with all of our Christmas stuff. I'll be here July 1st and 2nd, which I think is, let me see right here, y'all. Wednesday and Thursday, doing the glitter presents and a glitter joy. So if you wanted to learn how to do solid silhouette type glitter, oh yeah, Debbie said don't forget the blue outline. I've got to go back and change that. She's right there. I haven't done that, but yes, I will. So Wednesday and Thursday I'll be doing that glittering. It's gonna take a while because we're gonna do it in 2 parts. Wednesday's part 1 and Thursday's part 2. So I hope you guys have a good evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I just love getting to paint for you. Sorry it took a little bit longer, but we had to get the Texas and the truck done. And we'll be seeing you guys soon. Thank you. Y'all have a good one.